we're going to be doing something that EVs shouldn't be able to do. And we're going to do it in one of the most unlikely cars that you've ever seen. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. My name's Daniel Martin.
And I'm Tyler Joy.
If this is your first time here, welcome. We're Team Arcblast and we race EVs. Last year, we set a record at Thunderhill Raceway in California for the EV distance record. And we're gearing up now to attempt to break it again in May. Today, we're going to talk through about what that will take, assuming we can pull it off. And maybe we'll start with what is Thunderhill?
Yeah, so Thunderhill out by Willows, California. It's a 2.866 mile track, at least a 3 mile course. It's got a little bit of elevation, some long straights, nice and twisty, and honestly, it's one of my favorite tracks.
That turn five is it's a pretty interesting one. It's kind of, what do they call it? The cyclone?
Yeah, the Cyclone going up the hill right after that weird off camber right-hander.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit reminiscent of the corkscrew at Laguna Seca.
Yep. Yep, which hopefully we'll be seeing that later this year too.
That sounds pretty exciting.
So Dan, you want to remind us what Lemons is?
Yes. Thank you for asking, Tyler. So, 24 Hours of Lemons is a play on the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But it's also widely known as racing for real people because it is amateur endurance motorsport. It started in the aughts, the early 2000s, and the entry was a $500 car. As we all know, $500 in the aughts went a lot further than it goes now, and really judges are looking for cars that are in the spirit of lemons as opposed to a strict $500 entry, which kind of will play into what we're going to talk about a little bit today with the EV race car. But at a high level, 24 Hours of Lemons has three classes depending on how much of a prayer that you have of winning. And while it may be an amateur series, they do take safety really, really seriously. And that actually is something that in building an EV, it was an even greater effort because a lot of innovation in figuring out how do you make something safe when you have an extra 500 pounds of batteries whipping around these turns with you. There's a lot of technical details there. It's not just us that are trying to figure this stuff out. 24 Hours of Lemons as a series is also really supportive of EVs. Including putting a $50,000 bounty for the first outright Class A win. Now, in true Lemon style, they will give you that 50,000 K in a dump truck of nickels. With that background, let's take a look at what we did last year and maybe some of the challenges for racing EVs at this track.
Yeah, so last year was probably the hardest race I think we've ever done. Uh, Not necessarily because it's the first time we've been at Thunderhill, but because the heat was unbearable.
Ah,
Um,
yes.
110 degrees out, like, and that's probably not how hot it was on the asphalt, right? We're just out there sweating, and I remember the sun went down, and it was still hot. So yeah,
Full
that
race gear, like fire suits, gloves, the whole nine yards.
slinging 500-pound batteries around, that was that was fun.
Wait, why are we doing this again?
But yeah, so Thunderhill, it's pretty flat, has some high speed straights, which we don't like in EVs. We like to take it slow and take the corners real quick. There's of course the Cyclone, which we've talked about. That's really going to be the test for should we swap battery packs or not. Uh, as our voltage gets low, we start to lose torque. So if we hit that hill too slow on low voltage, we're not going to get over that hill.
Hmm.
Yep. Then the big one for
It's
us.
very analog. If
Yes.
you can't get over the hill, it's time to recharge.
Yep. But it's better than high plains. High plains are several hills in a row.
Oh no.
Yep. But yeah, our biggest challenge for Thunder Hill is the distance from the pit stops to our chargers. I think we're right around half a mile one direction, which last year, especially with the heat, we actually had to pull the vehicle into the cold pits to swap,
Mhm.
to not have to push that battery a mile every time we had a swap. That actually meant we were adding a good 8 to 10 minutes on each pit stop, which if you're doing 20 to 25 pit stops over the course of this race, that's a couple hours that you're off track. So that was probably our biggest challenge and where we lost the most last year. Last year, we were able to do just under 1,100 miles or 382 laps. And that set a new distance record for 24-hour Lemons EVs. And no one's been able to break it since. This year, we're trying to do 1,300 miles, which wouldn't be a new record just for Lemons. It'd be a new record for any EV motorsports wheel-to-wheel race ever, like worldwide. So that would be pretty huge for us. Uh,
That'd be so cool.
yeah, it'd be incredible. Um, we're a little bit too underpowered, I think, to hit a Class C win. We need almost 500 laps. The record would be around 300 or sorry, 435 laps. But, it's Lemons. We'll see what's in the cars. There's always going to be some chaos at these races.
So, Tyler, what has changed in the car since last year that's going to help us get those extra laps this year?
Yeah. Well, not a whole lot has changed. Not as much as we'd hoped. But
Always.
the big one for us is going to be fixing the throttle. Uh, Turns out in the off season, we found a little issue where when we hit full throttle, it trips off the motor controller because it sees more than 5 volts, which means we haven't had full throttle in the entire time we've raced this vehicle. So 4 years now. So for the first time ever, we're actually going to be able to go full throttle.
That's going to be a big quality of life difference as well.
Yeah, like being able to drive it flat out without worrying that's a big thing, right? Gives a lot more confidence in the car. Uh, yeah, and then the other thing that has changed since the off or during the off season, we haven't ever changed brakes on this vehicle. We've inspected them. We've changed like hubs, changed bearings, but the brake pads have always been golden. Apparently, we installed the right front brake pads incorrectly before the last 24-hour race. So that's been fixed. I'll
Which
give.
wasn't really an issue because we almost don't use brakes at all. It's just all regen, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think in 3 years on those brake pads, we've not even gone through half of the material. Yep.
So that's good. Glad we got that figured out, though. I'm surprised that we missed it.
Might explain a little bit of the squirreliness, especially since the last race had rain. So what's the big thing you're hoping is different this time, Dan?
For me, it has to be the heat inside the car. And I know that we can't control the weather, but we might have cool suits set up, which is like a specialized cooler with ice, and then it circulates through a shirt that you hook up for those who aren't familiar. And I think that is going to, at least for me, make a big difference if we can get it hooked up for May. How
Yeah.
about you?
Honestly, I'm looking forward to having a tow vehicle for our batteries.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure I've shown you this yet, but we
No.
have some warehouse stock chasers. They're
What?
24-volt powered, just three-wheeled. They're wild. They do some awesome wheelies. But that means we can actually change batteries in the hot pits because we're going to be able to tow from the chargers without breaking a sweat.
That actually is going to give probably a lot more laps
Yep. Yeah, if
on
we
track.
if we hold the same pace, that alone will get us the record.
Is it like on Instagram with the people that are like they have those little go-karts and they're drifting them around? It's like that, right?
Not quite.
Okay.
A little more lemonsy.
So, what are the challenges that we're going to be facing, like logistics wise, to run a 25-hour race and hopefully hit our target?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, it's the number of drivers. Ideally, we'd have six, but for this race, we're only going to have five. Uh, and we run a four-shift race, meaning two or three people get to sleep. That means two of our drivers are going to have to run on their own, potentially with no crew, for swapping batteries as well. So that'll be
Oof.
interesting. I think we'll be okay. We'll probably make that the first night shift. Uh, Other than that, the next big one is actually getting to the track. Uh, Many, or I guess no one in the audience knows, but I actually have a Rivian, and that's how I'm planning to tow the dots in there. So there's gonna be a lot of stops to charge on the way. Uh, and other than that, you just got to keep it clean. keep our pit stops quick, make sure no one gets hurt, and definitely be eating and drinking enough water because it's easy to forget that and then have some issue at the track. So
Yeah, racing is so much more than just the car on the track. There's a whole mental component and the team component and the timing of everything. It gets really complicated really fast.
yep. Yeah, having this plan before you go in makes it so much easier. But I mean, I'll also say if you're a rookie, if you're an amateur, like you don't have to do this. You can just show up and race, right? And if you get tired, if your team doesn't want to be on the track, just park it for the night.
Have fun. That's what it's about, being safe and having fun. For people that want to tune in, one question is the Sentinel setup. How has that been since last year? This is what we use to live stream from the car. Is that going to be up again this year?
Yep. So the Sentinel will be running again. So we'll have a live stream out on YouTube. We may put it on Twitch. There's some new streaming software I'm looking to try out. And it should be, fingers crossed, a lot more reliable. A lot of dropouts last year, but there's been some updates. Hopefully it'll be smoother, a little bit higher quality. Uh, but if you don't want to watch the live stream, you can always come out to the track and watch because there's so much more to see at the track than just us. It's a circus,
I think last year there was like 113 or 120 cars,
something like that.
something, some, it was over 100 for sure.
Yep.
And everyone is unique and has a neat story, and it's a really good community there. So there's a lot to check out. I think Lemons charges $40 for a spectator pass, and that gets you into the pits and to be able to talk to people and into the stands and walk around anywhere you want.
Yep. Yeah, and it's open pits. It's not like a normal race where you can't see the crew and the drivers. You can go talk to anybody there. I think you can show up and get in a race car as well if you have safety gear, because they will sometimes do gear tech.
Hmm.
So so if you want to show up to the track, go talk to some other teams. You might be able to get in a car too.
You never know. You can't. You won't know until you try.
Yep.
Well, then once we do this, we are going to sit down again and talk about how it went. So you can also come here and get a race recap afterwards. But until then, have fun wrenching and be safe out there, everyone. What are you 3D printing back there, by the way?
Um, you find out at Thunderhill.